Welcome to Church Talk. It's Friday, and today's episode is entitled Ending Entitlement.
So please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things that help us with the algorithms.
Yes, algorithm thingies. They, they do like the likes, the subscribes. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify.
Yeah.
So go everywhere and subscribe on YouTube. We'd love to see subscriptions there on YouTube. So
Yeah.
go ahead and get on there. Comment on our videos. Comment on the reels. It'll all help us.
Leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you consume your content.
Share us on Instagram.
Please share us on Instagram.
Post in your story. We'd love that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And
Except where they were making fun of me the other day about telling the truth. I didn't appreciate that.
well, I mean, don't give that to me. The first one of the first reels that we published from this podcast was a video of me touching my microphone.
Yeah.
And you clowns clipped that, and that was the first thing y'all decided to produce. So
I don't know who our creatives team is.
you are the creative team.
I am, but
All right, and then you brought on some help, and they got you back. For
they got
getting
me back.
So, what goeth around cometh around,
as they used to say.
They used to say it like that a long time ago. We've got to get into the content. We got to get into the content. So we are talking about entitlement today, and entitlement is what I would call a quiet killer.
Yeah.
It is the killer of gratitude. It is the killer of humility, and it is the killer of personal growth. But not just personal growth. It can affect churches. It can affect families. It can affect you in your workplace. So, knowing that entitlement is devastating to every area of life, we need to have an understanding of what it is and how to combat the spirit of entitlement. Entitlement is the belief that I'm owed something simply because of who I am, or how long I've been here, or what I've done. But in God's kingdom, the ground is level at the foot of the cross.
Yes, that's good.
And so there is no entitlement no room for entitlement in God's kingdom. So let's look at some. I'd hate to bring the Bible into this, but let's look at 1 Corinthians 4 and chapter 4 and verse number 7.
It says, "For who maketh thee to differ from another? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? Now if thou didst receive it, why dost thou glory, as if thou hast not received it?"
Wow. So everything we have, our gifts, our talents, our breath, our opportunities, they are received things.
Yeah.
They are things that we have received either from someone before us or someone above us.
Yeah.
They are either something that we receive from someone we are close to or from our God. And still, in knowing that everything that we have, knowing that I cannot take one breath on my own, that my talents they do not belong to me. They were given to me. Knowing all of this, pride still somehow tends to whisper in our ears, you've earned it. You deserve it.
Yeah.
And so that's how entitlement begins. When we forget, entitlement begins when we forget the giver.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
When we forget who the giver is, we start demanding gifts.
That's why he would say every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of lights,
in whom there is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. So we compare, we complain, and eventually we believe God owes us something, or people owe us something, because we forget who gave us everything we have in the first place.
That's good. So
really, entitlement is just pride wearing a different suit. That's really the root of it. Pride is masquerading as entitlement, as a feeling of self aggrandizement or self deserving. And pride separates us both from God and from people.
Yeah, it does.
So Romans 12:3. Let's look at this verse real quick.
So Romans 12:3, as Paul says, "For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God has dealt to every man the measure of faith."
So Paul's not saying to have no introspection,
right?
Not to think of yourself at all, but to find out through prayer, through the wisdom of God, through the Word of God, how to strike the balance of taking interest in yourself, but not allowing it to go beyond the point of pride and arrogance.
And I think a great way of talking about this, I was reading a book this week called More Than Enough by Pastor Mark Copeland. You need to read that if you haven't read that.
If you hadn't read the bishop's book, actually, I got a copy of it right here, conveniently.
So More Than Enough.
More Than Enough. Find it on Amazon. It is an outstanding book.
Yes, but he talks about the difference between selfishness and self-interest in that, and people seem to think that you cannot look at self in any way, shape, or form. If I do anything for me, that's selfish. Well, there are some things we do for us that is self-interest, not selfish. So Paul's not telling us to not think about ourselves at all.
Yeah, well, because if you don't take any time on yourself, then you let yourself go, and you're no good to anybody else. But when you become completely self-absorbed,
right,
there's an issue.
Right.
If you see a man who has no pupils, who has no retina, that means his eyeballs have turned inward, and there's a major problem.
That's an issue.
That is a major issue. When all you can see is yourself, you're headed for destruction.
Yes.
And so our eyes are designed to focus outward, not inward.
Yes.
And so we can see ourselves enough to dress ourselves, and we have mirrors to fix our hair and make ourselves presentable.
Yeah.
But when if we spend all of our time in front of the mirror, we we'll render ourselves completely ineffective in the rest of the world. We've got to get outside of ourselves, not think of ourselves more than we ought, and tend to the things of others. You know, the most effective people in history are people who gave themselves for the lives of others.
Yeah, right.
You know, you think about the great missionaries like George Mueller and the Teclamarians, and
Yep.
I could go on and on and on with this, but you know, I think about even modern day missionaries who their stories and their self-sacrifice is so inspirational. People like Brother Ryan Thompson in Brazil, who
Right.
you know, left the States as just a teenage boy to go to a foreign country to give his life to bring the gospel to that nation, and what he has allowed God to use him to accomplish, because he wasn't focused on. I mean, this was a man who had. I mean, he went to. A lot of people don't know this, but he went to basketball camps with Larry Bird.
Wow.
He was an extremely talented ball player, and just turned away from all that, and gave himself to the kingdom of God, and now has built quite an organization, built over 100 churches, because he was focused on the things of others. A sober mind remembers that I am blessed.
Yes.
I'm not entitled.
Yes.
What I have is a gift.
Yes.
I'm not entitled to it. In fact, nothing I have I deserve.
Yeah.
It is a absolute blessing and gift from God that I have anything that I have. And so let's take a few minutes here and look at Jesus' words on this subject. Matthew 20 and verse number 10. We'll read a few verses here.
He says, "But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. When they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden of the heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a penny?
Yeah.
Take what is yours and go thy way. I will give unto this last even as unto thee.
Yeah.
Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own?
Yeah.
Is thine eye evil because I am good?"
Wow. So, yeah, this is a perfect example of the spirit of entitlement.
Yeah.
Jesus is telling what we call the parable of the workers. And he hires some in the morning, some in the middle of the day, some in the evening, but they all hired on for the same reward.
Yeah, they agreed the same.
And then the guys that were hired on in the morning and worked all day, when it came time to pay up, all of a sudden what they agreed on and agreed was a good price for a day's wages at the beginning of the day, because these guys that didn't work as long as them felt like they were entitled to more, even though they got what they agreed to. And the owner said, "Look, are you challenging me because I've decided to be generous with my own money?"
Yeah.
So the issue wasn't injustice. The issue wasn't that the owner had went back on his agreement. He didn't gyp anybody.
No, no.
The issue was comparison.
Yes. Comparing one amongst another.
Yeah. And a lot of the sense of entitlement comes when you start comparing yourself.
Yeah.
We start comparing ourselves among ourselves. Well, I don't have what they have, and I don't. Well, nobody said God was fair.
Right. Right. He's
And
not a socialist.
He's not. You can't read the parable of the talents and come up with that idea. You know, we don't. That is one of the things about, you know, church growth and all. You know, I was just talking to a pastor friend about that this week. We don't all start on the same at the same place. And God is more concerned about percentages than he is
Yes.
amounts.
Yes.
And so I was, you know, I'm very thankful for all the growth that God has given us here in Ocala. But, you know, I was telling a guy that has gone from 5 to 60 in 3 years' time. I was like, man, you've grown more than me.
Yeah. It's staggering.
I mean, that's over 10x where I went to school. You know, and you know, God's blessed us to triple or more, but by percentages, the numbers, the amount might be more.
Yeah.
But the percentages on his side is far outweighs what has happened here, and so it's like the woman with the 2 mites.
Yeah.
Jesus said she gave more than everybody, not amounts, but by percentage, because she gave everything.
Yep.
And so it is a trick of the devil to start playing the comparison game, because then we lose sight of how much God has blessed us.
Right.
You know, it's hard to be grateful when you're focused on everybody else's blessings.
Yeah, it causes you to forget that what they have came from the same place that what you have came from.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
Yes.
And it's, if we lose sight of the giver, and we just start to think my hard work has earned me more than their hard work has.
Yeah.
They're doing the same work as I am, but I work longer, so I just deserve more.
Yeah. So you know, entitlement breeds jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
It convinces us that someone else's blessings is somehow our loss.
Yeah.
You know, it's again, it goes back to the socialist. What is how do you say it? The poverty mentality of, if somebody else has, then I can't have. And that is not the way God's kingdom works. He owns everything. Your blessing doesn't take away from what I'm able to do.
Yes.
Your favor with God does not mean that He don't have the same amount of favor to pour out on me. And so, you know, in the church, we start saying things like, "Well, I've been faithful longer than they have, and look what God's doing for them. I've served harder. You know, I've done more for the church. I deserve recognition for what I've done, and these people are getting recognition. It seems like the Passover is being observed upon me." You know. But let's look at what Jesus said in Luke 17 and 10.
He says, "So likewise, you, when you shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do."
So we aren't doing God a favor by obeying Him.
Right.
It's simply our reasonable service. Romans
Yes.
Romans 12. You know, an entitlement mentality will get a hold of us. If it gets a hold of us, it will cause us to have. We won't say this, but we'll have an air about us that we're somehow doing God a favor by coming to church. We're doing God a favor by serving in the kingdom. We're doing God a favor by giving. We're doing God a favor by whatever it is. When it could not be further from the truth. We could not do anything in his kingdom if he didn't give us the ability to.
Right.
You know, one chemical imbalance in my brain and I would be laying here on this floor unable to take care of myself. It is the gift of God that I'm able to stand to teach. It's the gift of God that I have the cognizance of mind to be able to deal with any type of situation that goes on in the kingdom, to serve in any capacity. And so I'm not entitled to this. God has allowed me and given me the privilege to serve in his kingdom, in spite of me.
Yes.
And so let's talk about how entitlement hampers or hinders personal growth. When you believe you are owed something, you cannot grow.
Yeah.
You cannot grow with that type of mentality. So, number one is because if you believe you're owed something, you won't learn. You won't push yourself to better yourself.
Yes.
Entitled people resist correction.
Yes.
They view feedback as an insult instead of instruction.
Yeah.
Proverbs 16 and 18. Do you have that verse?
I have that one. It says, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before the fall."
Yeah. So, I may not have written it down, but there's a scripture in Proverbs. What's the scripture in Proverbs about a fool resisting instruction or hating instruction?
That one is. There's a few.
Yeah.
The fools despise wisdom and instruction in Proverbs 1:7. Proverbs 15, a fool despises his father's instruction. Proverbs 12, whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish.
Yeah. So when we feel like we're entitled to anything, to things, it puts us in a state of mind that says I deserve that position without having to go through the instruction that it takes to give me the character to get there.
Yeah.
So that is the one way that it hampers your personal growth. Number two, if you're entitled, you don't have any reason to push yourself to work for anything.
Right.
2 Thessalonians 3:10
says, "For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat."
Wow. So this flies in the face of entitlement programs.
Yeah.
And I believe that we should feed those that can't feed themselves, don't have the ability to, all that kind of stuff. I believe in those kinds of things, feeding the poor and the needy. But if you have the ability, the Bible says, if you don't work and you can, you shouldn't be allowed to eat.
Yeah, being hungry does not entitle you to food.
Yes. Yes. Work entitles me to food.
Yes.
Spiritual maturity requires effort. You know, I know that you could put a sermon together by typing an idea into AI and say, give me 30 minutes.
Yep.
Well, if you're doing that, you are just revealing that you feel entitled.
Yeah, that's right.
To a platform and the ability to say something. You don't have any right to a stage, a microphone, or a pulpit that you hadn't prayed over, studied over, and had the discipline to get a word from God.
Right.
Because there is shortcuts to getting a sermon these days.
Yeah.
There is no shortcut to getting a word from God.
No. Anointing does not have a shortcut.
Entitlement says God should just bless me with fill in the blank. Growth says, Lord, make me faithful.
Yes.
Give me the ability, give me the willingness to be faithful in the long term. If I'll be faithful in few things, God will make me ruler over many. If I'll pray in private, He'll reward me openly.
Yes.
Entitlement mentality flies in the face of those ideas. It rejects and resents those ideas. I shouldn't have to spend any time in obscurity to get what I want. Well, Jesus was God on foot and spent 30 years in obscurity.
Yeah, He did.
And so tell me again why you think that you're entitled to a stage.
That's good. That's good.
At 18 years old, when Jesus didn't have one till he was 30. He had a brief little snippet at 12.
Yeah.
And then it's back into obscurity. It's like Mark Lowry said, good God, God's in the house and nobody's keeping a journal. But he was giving us an example that you're not entitled to anything unless you're willing to put in the time. Number 3, the thing that stops personal growth is you stop serving. Entitlement causes you to stop. You don't feel the need that you have to serve to be able to operate in the kingdom.
That's good.
Philippians 2:3 and 4.
It says, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory.
Vainglory.
But in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others.
Wow. Esteem others better than themselves. When you think everyone exists to serve you, you'll never know the joy of serving others.
Yes.
Man, there is such a joy that comes when you get the revelation of service to others.
Yeah.
Number 4, the way entitlement stops personal growth is you lose gratitude. It's impossible to be grateful when you feel entitled.
Yeah.
James 4 and 6
says, but he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble.
Wow. So gratitude fuels the joy, fuels our joy. Yeah. Entitlement drains our joy. Entitlement halts our progress. It traps you waiting for what you think you're owed instead of working toward what God has called you to become.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good.
So let's bring it a little closer to home here. Um, Entitlement in our everyday life, at work, entitlement will say things like, "I've been here the longest, I should get the promotion." Yet the Bible tells us in Psalm 75 that promotion belongs to the Lord.
Yes. Yes.
In our relationships, our entitlement starts saying things like, "I deserve better treatment from my spouse."
Yeah.
But love doesn't keep score; it serves. This is not a Family Matters episode, but we'll throw it in there. Um, but if you are keeping score in your relationship with your spouse, that is why it is one of the main components of why you're having trouble in your relationship.
Yeah. Sure.
We don't give 50-50. It's 100%. And I don't serve my wife at the level that she serves me.
Right.
I serve her with all of my heart.
Yes. Yes.
Regardless of what comes in return.
Yes.
Without keeping score. Men, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. There's no way that if Jesus treated his relationship with the church the way we treat our relationship with our spouses sometimes, that we would have a chance at salvation, because there's no way that we can be 50-50 with Jesus.
No.
There's no way. All we can do is give him everything.
Yeah.
We don't deserve anything.
And that's the incredible thing, is because God works on percentages even in that.
Yeah.
He says, "You give me everything, and I'll give you everything."
Yeah. Even though his everything's a lot more than our
A
everything.
lot more.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, love doesn't keep score. It serves. In ministry, why don't they pick me? Why don't they ask me to teach?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't they ask me to preach?
Yeah.
The same God that calls you sees you,
Yes.
even if you feel like pastors don't.
That's good. That's good.
You don't have to go to churches and camp meetings and conferences and pass out your business cards to get places to preach.
Yeah.
If you will pray and you're called,
Yes.
doors will open.
It will.
I'm a little bit old school. I don't believe in. I never did calendars. I never did schedules, anything like that. When I evangelized, I prayed, and I never made one phone call. I never asked a pastor to let me preach for them. God opened every door because that was my calling.
Right.
When it came time for me to pastor, God opened the door and I stepped through it. If you feel entitled to it, you'll make a fool out of yourself by trying to knock doors down, beg for, going around begging for opportunities instead of allowing God to bring you through those doors, open those doors in his time. And there's so much. This is a great revelation especially for young preachers to get, is there's so much dignity attached to just letting God unfold the rooms.
Yes.
You want to lose your dignity real fast. Just feel entitled to a pulpit. Feel entitled to a ministry. It's a great way to just lose all dignity and become an embarrassment. So Jesus said in Matthew 23:11, do you have that verse?
Yes. He said, "But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant.
Yeah, I guess I should remind us all at this point that the word minister means servant.
Yeah.
So when you say, I want a ministry, that means you want to serve others.
Serve.
So in every arena in life, we have got to model grateful stewardship, not entitlement.
Yes.
Gratitude for every opportunity that God brings into our life, because we don't deserve any of it.
Yeah.
In fact, gratitude is the antidote for entitlement.
Yes.
If you want to end entitlement, be grateful for every situation that you're in. You need to say often to yourself, Lord, everything I have, I've received.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't do it. It wasn't by my power. It wasn't by my might. It was by your Spirit, saith the Lord. That little confession alone silences the voice of pride.
Yeah.
That feeds entitlement.
Yeah.
It invites peace and gives contentment in your life. So when you live with humility, you'll always keep learning.
Yes.
You'll always keep working.
Right.
You'll always keep pushing forward, because the humble heart is a teachable heart.
Yeah. Right. Right.
People who are not entitled are okay with their pastor's correction. They're okay with their parents' correction.
Yeah.
They're okay with any leader's correction.
Yeah.
Because
instead of I didn't deserve that, it's I probably deserved that.
Yes, I deserved a lot worse.
Yeah.
Paul said, in whatever state I find myself in, I'm content. I've learned how to be abased, and I've learned how to abound. Well, how do I do that? I can't do that if I'm entitled.
That's right. That's right.
I am not entitled to anything in life. I deserve eternal judgment.
Yeah.
I am a sinner, and all sinners deserve hell. They deserve the grave. But by the grace of God, I'm saved.
Yes.
By the grace of God, I'm blessed.
Yes.
By the grace of God, I am living an abundant life. So again, we'll go back to the beginning here, and we'll wrap up with this. But 1 Corinthians 4 and 7, let's read that one more time. 1 Corinthians 4:7.
It says, "For who maketh thee to differ from another? And what hast thou that thou did not receive? For now if thou did receive it, why do you glory as if you had not received it?"
What hast thou that thou didst not receive? I don't have anything that I didn't receive. And so everything I have is by the grace of God, like I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And when you remember that, you'll stop demanding more.
Yes.
And start becoming more. Musicians come.